Hey guys, welcome back to Intuitive Angling, and appreciate you guys joining me for the episode today. And guys, I have been thinking about this a lot lately, and I want to talk about the fact that we have a new world order in bass fishing that has been created by Bassmaster and MLF over the past 2 or 3 years that is absolutely disgusting. I'm going to dig into this today, guys, and this is when you talk about this whole shift that the industry is under right now and the whole shift that bass fishing is, this isn't just a one-off. This is something that needs to be on the front page of every bass fishing outlet news every single day, guys. You can't be apathetic, and you can't sweep this under the rug, and you can't say, oh, Randy, you can't fight progress, and you can't give up like that. That's what they want. They want an apathetic bass fishing public. I want to dig into this today specifically about the underlying motivations between Bassmaster and MLF and what they've done to the sport. In essence, they have created a new world order in bass fishing. So we're going to dig into that today. Look forward to hearing you guys' comments and opinions on that as well. I'm also, guys, a couple quick things before we get started. I want to remind you guys of, if you want another, everybody knows, guys, that, you know, the Bridgeford Sweet Baby Ray beef jerky is excellent boat food. Another product Bridgeford has, guys, is the beef and cheddar sticks here. This is perfect for your boat, guys. It packs really well. Doesn't matter what the weather is or what the temperature, it holds up good. Unbelievable tasty, guys. The beef and cheddar sticks, you can get them at Walmart stores across the country in the grocery store section or some of your favorite grocery stores, but keep an eye out for the Bridgeford beef and cheddar. And guys, also, if you want to support a company that supports bass fishing and supports bass anglers, Bridgeford Foods is your company, guys. Family owned since the 1930s. Awesome company. 2 other quick things, guys. We're running low on running out on time on this. Solar Bat has got the Founders Day sale going all through the month of August. We got about another week left. 30% off on my Signature Series RB2s and 3s. Use the promo code RandyB for free shipping and handling. And also, guys, when you buy a pair, you get another pair worth $100 absolutely free. So you get 2 for the price of 1. And finally, guys, the same sale runs out at the end of August on this Cast King ALTI bait cast reel. You guys hear me talk about this a lot. Guys, I can't stress how awesome of a reel this is right here for under $200. You'll never find a finer bait casting reel for under $200. If you use the current discount that Cast King has through the month of August, 10% off, and another 10% off by using my promo code RANDY10. So I'll have the Cast King link in the description of the video, guys, if you want to try out this ALTI bait cast reel. Virtually impossible to backlash. All titanium spool, built for stout, man. It's an awesome reel. Okay, guys, this is something, like I said, I have taken on the burden on this whole thing gladly on this, and I will not let this die. The only time that I'm going to rest with this whole thing is when we either have new ownership within Bassmaster and MLF that it sorely needs, or there's a complete ban on forward-facing sonar and any other similar technologies. Then you won't hear me talking about this again. But until then, we have to bring things to light. Now, what I want to do specifically in the video today is I want to talk about what I call this new world order in bass fishing that has been thrust upon us primarily by Bassmaster and MLF, because you guys know that I praise them when they deserve praise, which I have. I've been part of that organization a long time. I'll talk about that a little bit in the video here. And I'm going to criticize them when they need criticized, which is right now. Okay, before I get into this, let me give you a little bit of my history with both organizations. I have had a big part in a lot of the decision making that Bassmaster and MLF has had in the past. Back when Jerry McInnes owned the organization, he was part owner in Bass, several years ago. Jerry and I were very close friends. I vacationed with him. I spent holidays at his house, and he always bounced off ideas about the direction of Bassmaster to me. And we talked about it a lot. We talked about it back and forth as just two guys that love bass fishing. So I was involved in a lot of the policy making decisions that Bassmaster had during that time frame. Not like, I was the main advisor or anything, but Jerry always bounced ideas off me. And we talked about it while we were fishing together, while we were floating rivers together, while he was owner of Bassmaster. And I can tell you one thing about Jerry McInnes. Out of all the years I've known him, and as close as I was to him when he owned Bassmaster, There was not one single conversation we ever had where he was concerned about sponsorships or how his decisions on the direction of Bassmaster, how that would affect his sponsorships with other companies. He didn't care. Jerry had a sincere desire to improve the sport and to improve the situation for bass anglers. That guy is sorely missed, guys. He was a great leader for Bassmaster, as was Ray Scott. Right now, the organization is basically unrecognizable now in the management versus it had when Jerry McInnes had it, when Ray Scott had it. The same with MLF, guys. I had the chance, I was sponsored by, I had sponsorship deals through MLF, 7 years on the Fujifilm fishing team through MLF, or through FLW at the time, now it's MLF. For 2 years, I was on the Pickens plan. I traveled to several sponsor meetings with Irwin Jacobs, who owned MLF. I was involved in probably a dozen different Zoom conference calls with FLW and courting potential sponsors. So I had a hand in the industry a lot of people don't know about. So I understand the operations and what goes on behind the scenes in both of those organizations. Okay, given that, when I talk about this new world order, this is what I'm talking about. And you have to relate all this to other aspects of our society. Specifically, let's talk about politics in this. And not that I'm going to get political, but I'm going to talk to you guys about the reality of what politics is. Politics and bass fishing, we have it right now with the MLF management and Bassmaster. This is what you have. You have got a minority of people that want to set the rules for Bassmaster and MLF, and you got a minority of people that you want to set laws, whether it be on a local, state, or federal level in our government. Okay? Many times, in fact, probably more than not, the public opinion is in opposition to whatever legislation or whatever type of law or whatever type of changes that both MLF, Bassmaster, or politicians make on a state, local, and national level. But here's the thing about it. They don't give a crap, guys. I'll use one let me use one example here in my local community here, just on local politics. We have got a lot of developers in my part of the country in Springfield, Missouri here. And they are in bed with the zoning and planning commissioners and the city councils and all that type of stuff, because what happens is you have massive public opposition to projects. I don't care if it's a housing development, if it's an industrial park, if it's a data center, whatever. You have residents show up by the hundreds at these hearings voicing their opposition to it, and 9 times out of 10, the zoning and planning commissioners or the city council sides with the developers or the data center developers. The same with Bassmaster and MLF. We have seen a massive opposition to forward-facing sonar and a lot of the direction that the tournament organizations have taken the tournaments and the organizations in general. And then you have a complete misalignment with the majority opinion, and they just do what they want to. And this is one of the dark things about our society is you have minority rule, and it's extending over into bass fishing now. We've had it in politics and different type of cultural aspects of our society for a long time, and now that you're seeing it. When Bassmaster and MLF tell you guys that we are listening to our customers and our constituents, and they want forward-facing sonar and they want to move forward with this, that is a total bunch of bullshit. You know how I know? Is because I've talked about this before, guys. I get over 10 million views a month on my social media avenues, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that type of stuff. 10 million views a month. I get thousands of comments, thousands. The overwhelming number of comments that I get are anti-forward-facing sonar in a very passionate manner. They hate it. They don't want it. There has been hundreds and hundreds of people that have messaged me that said they've canceled their Bassmaster memberships because of their position on forward-facing sonar. And another thing I know about it, and you can ask my wife Kim on this. In fact, it just happened. We were on the beach down on the Gulf of Mexico last week down at Gulf Shores, and there was a guy that we were laying on the beach and on the Gulf Coast there, And an angler came up there and introduced himself that he followed my channel and he's totally on board with my anti-forward facing sonar stance. Guys, I have had this happen everywhere. I've had people stop me at rest stops in Colorado, saying, hey, Randy, watch your channel, agree with you on forward facing. I have been walking down the halls of hotels 500 miles from my home. People say, hey, Randy, watch your channel, love your stance on forward facing sonar. We were at a concert at St. Louis, coming out of a concert up there, and one of the guys saw my truck, ran over to me, hey, Randy, love your channel, totally agree with you on forward-facing sonar. I have had hundreds of people come up to me over the past 5 years, all over the country. Every single one of them, the first thing they say is they agree with me on my anti-forward-facing sonar stance. I have had zero people come up to me and say they did not agree with me on that. Zero. So I know for a fact that this whole line about MLF saying, oh, we polled our base and this is what they want, they don't want forward-facing sonar, bullshit. That's not the way it is. They are polling a small minority of people that are probably, some type of a target audience, so they're going to get the desired results. That is not the reality of the situation. And this is what I'm talking about the New World Order in bass fishing, is we have got a situation where there is a minority of people, a tiny minority of people that are setting the entire future for the sport. And there are two people, guys, and they are the owners of Bassmaster and they are the owners of MLF, that their decisions that they make on the direction and the laws and the rules about forward-facing sonar that reverberate far beyond just their own tournaments. This is what they don't understand, is when MLF and Bassmaster makes a decision on the rule, it has an effect that goes through the entire fishing industry. It affects the entire fishing industry, and there's a responsibility with that. So when you have a rule change that the majority of bass anglers don't agree with, and then they just sweep it under the rug and they hope it goes away, and they say that it's black is white and green is blue, and they muddy the waters on the opinion of it in order to color their own perspective. This is what I'm talking about the negative influence that a minority of people have over the majority. It's the same in politics, guys. There are so many laws right now on a state, national, and federal law level that the general public is outraged and is against, the majority of people are against, yet the small percentage rams it through, because power corrupts, guys. Power and money corrupts everything out there, and special agendas. And you can trace almost anything back to money. I don't care what it is. It's like there are very few people in the world, like Jerry McInnes when he owned Bassmaster, that was not motivated by making more money. That's the truth with it. So in essence, what we have had is, you've got a small minority of people that are changing everything in the world that the majority of the people have to deal with. And the thing about this is they don't want people to talk about it. They want people to shut up. They want to, try to make it sound like it's not that big of a deal. And they count. The one thing that they count on, guys, the one things politicians count on, and the one things that the owners of Bassmaster and MLF count on, is they count on apathy. They count on a large percentage of bass anglers or the public in general are apathetic to the situation, and they realize that there's going to be some very passionate opposition to what they're doing, but they also realize that apathy is their ally, because most people are so caught up in working their jobs and paying their bills and taking care of their families, is they don't want to get involved with it. And that's what gives them power, is the apathy from people. So one of the things I'm trying to tell you guys as bass anglers, if you want to ensure the sustainability of the sport, and you want the sport to remain intact, and if you want the tradition and the heritage of fishing to go on to the next generation, and you want to take care of the environment that gives you your playing field, if you want everything that is good about bass fishing, you have got to let these organizations know about your opposition to what they're doing here. Do not normalize forward-facing sonar and advancing technologies. There's nothing normal about it. Don't let them say all this bullshit about, oh, it's just another tool and you can't make the fish bite with it. All that stuff is gaslighting the situation. It's gaslighting the public on what the dangers of this technology is and what's doing to our sport. And they're going to try to do that, guys. There's a concerted effort amongst a group of people in this industry to try to normalize what is going on here, and they're going to try to squash opposition. They're going to try to, demean and diminish people like myself that are leading opposition. And you can't do that because I know how people feel about it, guys. I'm around them every day. I'm around far more people than the management of Bassmaster and MLF are on the grassroots ground level. And I can tell you right now, the majority of people hate it. They do. You've got 80% of the people out there that are in opposition. You've got 20% of the people out there that have been brainwashed into thinking it's the greatest thing in the world. And then you have some people that are in between that are just, like I said, they're just sort of apathetic because they don't really care that much about it. But if you pay attention to the reality of the situation, there's no way that anybody can possibly agree with the fact that we have created a situation in this new world order that I'm talking about where you have a bigger financial disparity amongst anglers that's ever existed. You have taken the fact that fishing is no longer fishing to find the fish. It is not fair chasing anymore. Kevin Van Dam even equates it to using to spotlighting deer. Kevin Van Dam even says it has no place in tournament fishing. And then you see people like that, Kevin Van Dam, that is, uses that technology, but still recognizes the reality of and the danger of it. You have Bassmaster and MLF just giving those guys the finger because they don't care. That's why they have removed restrictions from using forward-facing sonar on the BFL, now the BFL team tournament debacle, and the high school tournaments. So I don't know, guys. The only thing that changes this is the majority of the anglers out here have got to become so loud and so obnoxious and so passionate about it that they can't ignore it. And that's the only power that we have. Because you guys, you are not going to be able to compete against the checks those electronic companies write to the organizations. And the only way that you can do that is through your voice. So let the organizations know. I want to see both of them succeed, guys, but I don't want them to succeed at the expense of the sport and the future of bass fishing, if that makes sense. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think about it. Talk later.